In December 1975, the Lutz family found their dream home in Amityville, New York. A large, beautiful riverside house at an unbelievably low price. They knew why it was so cheap. 1 year earlier, Ronald DeFeo Jr. had murdered all 6 members of his family right inside. But they believed that tragedy was in the past. They were wrong. The nightmare was just beginning. The Amityville Horror began with an unthinkable crime that would forever stain the very foundation of the house. On a chilling November night in 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. committed an act so heinous it defied comprehension. Moving silently from room to room, he methodically shot and killed his father, mother, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters as they slept in their beds. The eerie silence that enveloped the massacre raised disturbing questions. Not a single victim showed signs of waking or struggling, and neighbors reported hearing no gunshots pierce the quiet night. When questioned about his motive, DeFeo's explanation only deepened the mystery. He claimed that sinister voices within the house had commanded him to carry out the slaughter. Little did the Lutz family know that when they moved into 112 Ocean Avenue, they were stepping into a living nightmare. Their stay would last a mere 28 days. But those 4 weeks would be filled with an escalating series of terrifying events that would push them to the brink of sanity. From the very beginning, an oppressive atmosphere seemed to descend upon the house, particularly affecting George Lutz. The once jovial family man began to undergo a disturbing transformation, becoming increasingly angry and withdrawn, eerily mirroring the personality changes described in Ronald DeFeo before the murders. The paranormal activity manifested in ways both subtle and shocking. George found himself inexplicably waking at precisely 3:15 a.m. every single night, the very hour when the DeFeo murders were believed to have taken place. The house seemed to rebel against its new occupants, assaulting their senses with inexplicable phenomena. Foul, putrid odors would suddenly permeate rooms, only to vanish as quickly as they appeared. In the depths of winter, massive swarms of flies materialized out of nowhere, defying all logic. Perhaps most chilling were the religious objects throughout the home that seemed to move of their own accord, with crucifixes repeatedly found turned upside down. As the days wore on, the malevolent presence within the house appeared to focus its attention on the most vulnerable members of the family. The children, the youngest daughter, Missy, began speaking of an imaginary friend she called Jody. Her descriptions of this entity sent chills down her parents' spines. Jody was no ordinary childhood fantasy, but a pig-like creature with glowing red eyes that Missy insisted she could see lurking outside her bedroom window. The image of those burning red orbs peering in from the darkness would haunt the Lutz family long after they fled the house. The horrors were not confined to the upper floors. In the basement, a grim discovery awaited the family. Hidden behind a false wall, they uncovered a small, secret room that did not appear on any of the house's blueprints. Its walls were painted a deep blood red, giving rise to terrifying speculation about its purpose. Some believed it to be a gateway to hell, a focal point for the dark energies that permeated the house. As their time in the house stretched on, the Lutzes found themselves trapped in an ever-tightening spiral of fear. The paranormal activity intensified, becoming more violent and threatening with each passing day. Objects would fly across rooms as if hurled by invisible hands. The temperature would plummet without warning, leaving George and Kathy shivering in bone-chilling cold, even as their children complained of stifling heat in the next room. Most disturbing of all were the disembodied voices that echoed through the walls, guttural growls and whispers that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. On the final night of their stay, the house unleashed its full fury upon the terrified family. It was as if all the pent-up malevolence of the past 28 days had been unleashed in one cataclysmic event. Doors were violently ripped from their hinges by an unseen force. The cacophonous sound of a marching band filled the air, the thunderous beats seeming to shake the very foundations of the house. In the midst of this chaos, George and Kathy Lutz would later claim to have witnessed the most horrifying sight of all, the manifestation of a demonic entity with the head of a goat, its eyes glowing with infernal light. Driven to the very edge of sanity and fearing for their lives, the Lutz family made the desperate decision to flee. In the dead of night, with only the clothes on their backs, they ran from the house that had become their own personal hell. Everything they owned, furniture, clothes, cherished possessions, was left behind, a small price to pay for their safety and sanity. As they sped away from 112 Ocean Avenue, they vowed never to return. The memory of those 28 days of terror forever seared into their minds. The Amityville Horror quickly became a global sensation, capturing the public imagination and spawning countless books, movies, and television specials. Yet, from the very beginning, the case has been shrouded in controversy. Skeptics have long claimed that the entire story was an elaborate hoax, concocted by the Lutz family to cash in on the tragic history of the house. They point to inconsistencies in the family's accounts and the lack of concrete evidence to support their claims of paranormal activity. Despite the controversy, the Lutz family has steadfastly maintained the truth of their experiences. Their assertions have been bolstered by the involvement of Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators who conducted their own examination of the house. The Warrens declared the Amityville house to be one of the most haunted locations they had ever encountered, lending credibility to the Lutz's terrifying tale. As the years have passed, the debate over the Amityville Horror has only intensified. Believers point to the consistent testimony of the Lutz family and the corroborating statements of the Warrens as proof that something truly supernatural occurred within those walls. Skeptics argue that the entire story can be explained away as a combination of suggestion, exaggeration, and outright fabrication, fueled by the desire for fame and fortune. Whatever one believes about the veracity of the Amityville Horror, its impact on popular culture is undeniable. The image of the house, with its distinctive eye-like windows, has become an iconic symbol of haunted houses in the American psyche. The story has inspired countless imitators and has become a touchstone for discussions of the paranormal. Perhaps the enduring fascination with the Amityville Horror lies not in the question of whether it was real or fake, but in the deeper fears it taps into. The idea that a place we consider safe, our home, could turn against us. That unseen forces could invade our most private spaces, strikes at the heart of our sense of security. The Amityville Horror serves as a chilling reminder that some houses don't want people living there, and they will do anything to make you leave.